Hi guys, how you going? You've got Riz Khan here, as seen on ABC, NBC, CBS and Fox. If you'd like to learn more about myself, feel free to visit my LinkedIn profile at the link provided. Now this here is a picture of my dead hard drive, and in just a few minutes you'll learn how this dead hard drive helped me buy over 30 bank-owned properties in just 27 days. That's right, 30 bank-owned properties in just 27 days. You'll also discover one really old and kind of weird business trick that I've used for years. This trick has allowed me to get direct access to over 5,000 banks. This means that I can get access to an unlimited supply of bank-owned properties at wholesale prices. So what's wholesale prices? Well, often as low as 25 cents in the dollar. So as an example, if a property is selling for $100,000, I can often get that for as low as $25,000. That's 25 cents in the dollar. What this trick has allowed me to do is basically work with hundreds of banks and thousands of investors all at the same time and in a very organized manner. Most importantly, this trick has allowed me to secure my financial future. Not only my financial future, but the financial future of my kids and their kids to come. That's right, it has allowed me to build a business that will last generations, and now you can too. Would you like to know how I did it so that you too can get these same awesome results? Watch this short video until the end, where you're going to discover three tips that I've used to build a massive real estate business. I'll show you my 7 simple steps to buying property direct from the banks at wholesale prices without needing a huge bank account and without having to buy them in bulk. I'll show you the exact tools and processes that I've used. I'll show you my bank inventory interactive database for over 5,000 banks. So what do I mean by bank inventory? Well, basically what happens is that banks have these distressed assets. Now, what are distressed assets? Well, when people take out a loan to purchase a property from the bank and they cannot repay that loan, then the bank comes in and basically forecloses on that house. They take back that house and then they try and auction it off. And if they can't successfully auction it off, then eventually it becomes bank-owned property. It becomes a distressed asset that's on the books of the bank that the bank must get rid of. And this is what opens an opportunity for you and I to basically go in there and purchase these properties at wholesale prices. And I have a database of this for over 5,000 banks, and not only properties but also mortgage notes for those of you that are in the notes business. I'll show you my exact cloud software that I use to manage and organize my complete business, and really this is the trick. Just a bit of fair warning though, I do not know how long this video will be online. I'm giving away so much free and hard to find information that I may even end up making this a paid presentation. So watch this now while it's still online and still free. Now you may think that you've heard it all when it comes to building a scalable real estate business, but yet I can guarantee you that you've never seen these little known real estate business growth tips that I'm about to show you today. This is entirely different. It's nothing like the popular property investing books that you may have seen or even tried. So be prepared to be absolutely shocked at what I'm going to reveal to you today. And remember, what I'm sharing will finally allow you the freedom to grow a massive real estate business to unimaginable heights. Look, I wasn't always an expert at building large real estate enterprises, appearing on ABC, NBC, CBS and Fox, and helping other real estate business owners all over the world to organize, manage and grow large sustainable businesses. And I certainly was not in the top financial form that I am today. In fact, far from it. Actually, I was flat broke. I remember the day when I decided that enough was enough. I'm going to share this story with you now, even though it's really embarrassing. You need to know just how deep down the rabbit hole I went before I discovered the stuff that I'm about to share with you today. The strategy that allows me to live this amazing life that I'm living right now. I remember it was Tuesday, the 11th of November 2008, and it was a cold, rainy morning. It was 6:30 AM in the morning and I had just got up and I was about to start off my day. I was very excited because I was in the midst of closing a large bank-owned REO deal that was valued at over $1 million. I'd basically obtained a list of bank-owned REO, of bank-owned properties from the bank, and I'd showed this list to my investor, and he was happy with it, and he was happy to basically buy the lot. So he'd made me an offer to buy the lot, and all I had to do then was take this offer to the bank and close off the deal. All I had to basically do was turn on my computer, open my magic Excel file, and email the offers to the bank. This Excel file was basically my life and blood of my business. I was running my complete business from this single file. It had everything I needed to run my business. It had hundreds of bank contact names and numbers and just as many investor contacts. And basically the way that I'd work was, when I received a list of bank-owned properties from the banks, I'd basically hide the information of the bank and then email that list to my investor. This would ensure that the investor doesn't know which bank I'm dealing with, because that's my secret. And that's what allows me to be the middleman and take a little bit of profit from each transaction. And that little bit can often be a few $100,000. So then when the investors make their offers to me, I open up this Excel file to know exactly which bank owns those properties, and then I can email those offers to that particular bank. So this Excel file had all the key information. It had all the history of all the opportunities that I was working on, any new deals, any existing deals, any offers being made to the banks, all the bank contacts, all the investor contacts. Every time I made a new bank contact, I'd add it to this Excel file. Every time I made a new investor contact, I'd add it to this Excel file. Every time I communicated with one of these people, I'd add that communications to the Excel file, because I was dealing with hundreds of banks and just as many investors. And when you're dealing with so many people, you often forget the last bit of communications you had with that particular person. So I would store all of that in this Excel file. So I was running my complete business all from this one Excel file. So again, all I had to do was email the offer to the bank, which was right in line with the bank expectations. So it was basically a done deal. I was getting these properties at 25 cents in the dollar. So the total value of them was around about $4 million, and the bank wanted to get just over $1 million for all of them. And when I showed these to my investor, he was happy to offer just under $2 million. So that was definitely in line with the bank expectations, and it was pretty much a done deal. Or so I thought. And that's when it happened. My computer had died on me. It just would not turn on. Could I go back through all the emails and find the information that I was after? Well, no, it's not all in the emails. The information I'm after is not actually in the emails. I'm dealing with over hundreds of banks and just as many investors. I could go through my emails and find the investor that I was dealing with, but how would I then connect those properties and understand, okay, which bank was it that owned these properties? That information was in the Excel file. And even if the information was all in the emails, it would probably take me a month or so to find it. And by then, these properties would no longer be on the market. At this price, some other investor would definitely pick them up. I remember my heart just sank, and I stared at this dead computer and reality just started to sink in. At first I thought to myself that everything will be fine, everything will just work out, but things just went from bad to worse. I sat there trying everything that I could, trying to unplug it, trying to restart the battery, trying to take the battery out, leave it for a few minutes and then put the battery back in. I even basically took the hard drive out and plugged it into another computer, but it was all of no use. Nothing was working. I tried to fix it, but it was gone. The hard drive had failed and I'd lost all the information, all the bank contacts, investor contacts, the conversation history, all the deals that I was working on, everything was gone. How can I close this deal when I don't even know which bank these properties belong to? When I no longer have the contact information, the name and the number of the distressed asset manager from the appropriate bank. It was all gone, lost and finished. My $1 million business literally went to zero overnight. And that's when I decided that I would never let this happen again, that I would work this out or die trying. How could I possibly allow my business to drop to zero based on a single point of failure? All because I was disorganized. I didn't just need a backup solution, I needed to get organized, super organized. I needed to organize myself, my documents, my tasks, my contacts, my projects that I'm working on. The problem was that I was disorganized And that's the part of me that I needed to change. I needed a system that would force me to be organized. I needed the ability to share information quickly and efficiently. I needed a system where I could quickly discover and find the banks, the investors, the documents, the templates and the different deals that I'm working on. A system that could completely manage the bank contacts and investor relationships. A system that showed me exactly which phase each deal was at. Which banks do I still need to contact? Which banks am I waiting for to send me a list of bank-owned properties? Which investors am I waiting on to basically make an offer on these properties? And then again, after sending those offers back to the bank, which banks am I waiting on to basically accept or reject my offers? I need a system that showed me all this, that showed me which banks were in which part of the phase of my business and which investors were in which part of the phase of my business. A system that organizes my blueprint for buying properties direct from the banks. A system that could run my entire business and did not rely on my computer, and gave me access to all of this information from anywhere around the world, from any device, whether it be a laptop, a tablet or a mobile phone. So I don't want to be tied down to my laptop. If I'm on the move and I'm out having dinner, I want to be able to respond simply from my phone. And I don't just mean emails, I mean basically the complete system needs to be available from a mobile phone. If there's any information that I want to look up, if there's conversation history I want to look up, if there's bank information I want to look up, if I want to see that Excel file, that list or whatever else it may be, I want to be able to get access to that all from a mobile phone. The frustrating part was that I already knew the exact system which could do all of this for me and so much more. A trusted, secure system built by Microsoft that just needed me to configure it and personalize it for my own use, which is exactly what I had done for years as an IT consultant. And I'd done this for large corporations with over thousands of employees. And now I simply needed to do this for myself. Would you like to take a look at the system? Just watch this video till the end and I'll show you the exact system and how you can have it too. But as you can clearly see, I'm not some super stud genetic wonder. I'm really just a lot like you, an average person who just so happened to go through hell. And because of my experience, through all of that pain, I discovered a blueprint. A system that finally allows folks like you and me to buy properties at wholesale direct from thousands of banks. Get completely organized in your business processes. An all-in-one cloud system that is personalized to the way that you work, and hence build a large, scalable real estate business. This little known business secret is what the large corporations have been doing for years, using the right tools and software to scale up and grow their businesses. I know this because I was a Microsoft consultant working for the largest corporations on the world. If you want to grow a business of any reasonable size, then you're going to have to need some systems and some processes. No sizable business has ever been built without the appropriate tools. Let me explain, and this should really turn on a light bulb for you. The software allows you to get organized and completely run your business. Now when you get organized, what happens is that you start to see these little new insights into your business. You start to fine-tune the processes and build standard operating procedures, SOPs. You can start building a standard operating procedure for buying properties, an SOP for buying properties, another SOP for selling properties, another SOP for getting appraisals done, or whichever other critical processes you may have in your business. Once you have these standard operating procedures in place, you can then simply hire a virtual assistant to delegate and automate these tasks. This then allows you to scale up your business and get employees for the different parts of your business. Just imagine it. Imagine if you had a team of people that were finding the opportunities for you, another team of people that were finding the investors, and then another team of people that were doing the appraisals or whatever processes you may have. Point being that once you get organized in a systematic manner and you put all of this into an electronic system, then it's very easy just to hire a virtual assistant or other employees to just log into that system and complete those automatic tasks. But again, you cannot do this until you have all your processes pinned down in an online system. This is exactly how large corporations are built, and now it's time for you to do it as well. Think big. Do you really think that you can grow $1 billion business, or even $1 million business with the tools and software that you have today? Could you be simultaneously working on 100 different deals with 100 different banks and 100 different investors all at the same time? Would you remember all the conversations that you're having and what needs to be done with each transaction? Of course not. Not without a system like the one that I'm about to show you today. I'm just about to bring up a system, but before I show it to you, you must absolutely be told the truth. You have to understand the real problem, the real reason why you've been struggling to really grow and expand your real estate business. You may have had some growth, but why hasn't it been massive, explosive growth? The real problem is the fact that you've been lied to for years, and these lies are keeping you from the business that you truly deserve and desire. One of these lies is that all you need to do is to make connections with banks and investors. Now, even I teach this in my course. I teach how to get in touch with the direct bank contact who can sell you the properties, who can sell you bank-owned properties. But to believe that that's all you need in order to grow a $1 million empire that will outlast generations, that is a lie and far from the truth. This is not even close to the truth. If that's all people needed was connections, then anybody on LinkedIn with about 100 connections would be a millionaire, but that's not the case, so there's definitely more to the story. If you are one of the millions who have fell victim to this lie, then you must decide right now that you'll believe the truth instead. Because if you don't, then you'll simply continue down the road of the yo-yo investment cycle, bouncing from one idea to the next. And eventually, no matter how connected you are, you'll struggle at building a real sizable dream business. Look, I had access to thousands of banks, and I had literally hundreds of names and numbers of investors and also bank contacts, but my business still went down to zero. So simply having contacts of investors and banks is just not enough. If you fell victim to this lie, then this is why your struggle with scaling up your real estate business is not your fault. You've been bombarded for almost as long as you've been alive with false and misleading information from these crooks, and they depend on your suffering to make a buck. The truth is that getting connected to the right people is just not enough. You can have all the connections in the world, but if you don't have a system to organize your connection, organize your documents, your tasks and your projects, then what's going to happen? You're going to be disorganized. You're going to lose important information, which will then lead to loss of income and again, no real business growth. You're going to forget important conversations and emails. You're going to start to lose contacts. You're going to keep chasing new opportunities while existing ones drop off. You're going to be limited in how many transactions you can close at any one time. Basically, you're going to be disorganized in your business, and it's going to limit your business growth. It won't be growing your business, it will simply be working your job. Let's now dive into the specific tips that I have for you today and have a look at the actual systems and tools that I use. And keep in mind, these same tips are what thousands have used to successfully grow a massive real estate business that they desire and deserve. And the most important of these is my organize and scale up principle. I'll go into all the specifics of my organize and scale up principle in just a second, so by all means keep watching. But first, you absolutely need to know tip number 1, which is to have a simple process. Have a simple process for buying real estate direct from the banks. So here's my simple 7-step process for purchasing properties direct from the banks. Now look, I'm not going to go into detail into each one of these steps. If you need to know more information about how to achieve each one of these steps, then I actually have a course that I'm going to give you access to towards the end of this video. So keep watching. And what that course does, it basically shows you how you can get the bank file that lists down all the mortgage notes and also the bank-owned REO for over 5,000 banks. And then it shows you how to get the actual name and number of the bank REO contact. And when you phone him, exactly what to say to him. So I'll give you my actual scripts, my word for word scripts on exactly what I say to these people in order to get that property list. And once you have the property list, then you simply show that to your investors and they make an offer on it. So you get the offers from the buyers and then you make those offers back to the bank. And if the bank accepts those offers, then you continue on to close that deal. But again, I'm not going to go into detail on exactly how I do this. If you want to get that information, then just keep watching this video because I'm going to give you access to that towards the end of this video. My second tip is that you need to build efficiencies in your business, efficiencies in your processes so that you can get things done faster and therefore scale up. If it's taking you days and days just to find the bank contact information, the person that you have to phone for one bank, then that's just going to take way too long to really scale up your business. You should be speaking to hundreds of banks and hundreds of investors at the same time. So let me show you what I do. So as you've seen, I have a simple 7-step process that helps me purchase properties direct from the banks. Now tip 2 was to build in efficiencies where I can. So as part of that process, one of the steps is to basically download a list of the 5,000 or more banks that have REO. So here's the list. Here's a list of 5,000 or so banks that have REO, and I show you within my training videos that I'm going to give you access to at the end of this video on exactly where to download this from. So this is a file that's freely available over the internet. Now let me show you exactly what this Excel file has. It has a list of the names of the banks, of all the banks. There's about 5,000 or 6,000 banks here. But let me show you what's really important. Anybody can get a list of, the different banks that are out there. But here's the key. It not only lists the bank, it also lists how much owned real estate that bank has. How much of that is residential real estate? How much of that is commercial real estate? How much of that is multiplexes? How much of that is then agricultural, and so on and so forth. So now I have a list of over 5,000 banks and exactly what's on their books. Now I could work directly with this Excel file, but what did I say? I said we need to build efficiencies. So how do I do that? Well, I take this Excel file and I load it into this system over here. Now again, this is a system that's freely available from the internet, and I show my people how to do this, how to take that Excel file and load it into this system. What's the beauty of loading it into this system? Well, now I can create these interactive charts, and I can start to work with these interactive charts, which can be available to me not just from a laptop but also from a tablet or a mobile phone. So for example, if I want to see which states have the most REO, I just chart that up like this, and I can see that the state of SD has the most REO. If I want to see which banks have the most REO, I can basically just chart that up. And what's really great about this is that it uses natural language to search that database. So what I've built is an interactive database, a bank inventory interactive database. So as an example, here's some searches that I've typed in. But let's just say somebody told me and came to me and said, look, which banks have REO in the city of Atlanta? Then I can simply just type that in. I can simply type in which banks have REO in the city of Atlanta, and it will return me those results. Now I can see that these are the banks that actually have some REO in the city of Atlanta, and how much REO do they have? Well, that's right here, and it's listed there that that's residential REO. So here it says that that's a residential REO. So I know that this bank, that SunTrust Bank, has the most REO in the city of Atlanta, which is residential REO. Or I may want to deal with some of the smaller banks because they may be more willing to sell me that. So I can see here that Cornerstone Bank has a little bit of REO, so it may be worth me phoning them up. But it's not just that. I've built a number of reports, and again, everything that you're seeing here, I actually show you how to build all of this, right? I'm going to give you access to all of this towards the end of this video, so just keep watching. Now here we are, whatever state that you're interested in. Here's the state, here's the city, and here's a list of all the banks within all those cities, and you can filter these down. Not only is it a list of banks, but it tells you exactly how much REO each bank has, and it gives you a breakup of that REO. How much of that is residential, how much is commercial, how much is construction, and so on and so forth. So as an example, if I want to filter this down, I want to say, okay, I only want to see that which is in the city of Georgia. So I just basically click on that. What that's actually done for me is basically it's now filtered this down. As you can see, this is now only showing me those banks that are in the state of GA. Now I may want to also click down and filter down for a particular city. So let's just choose, say for example, Atlanta, if I can just find that. So that's a common one that comes up often. So there it is. There's Atlanta. So I'm just going to click on Atlanta now, and now that's filtered it down again. So what's the example? What's the business scenario here? Well, the business scenario is that somebody's come to you and they've said to you that, look, find me some bank-owned property. Find me some property in the city of Atlanta in the state of Georgia, right? Now, what do? You're going to then start contacting these banks. You're going to come to this interactive bank database that's freely available from the internet, right? That you've built from this other Excel file. So from this Excel file, you've built up this interactive database. After you log into this, you're going to filter this down by state and by city into Atlanta. And now you can see that here are the list of banks that have REO on their books ready for sale right in that city of Atlanta. So then you're going to start to phone these banks, and you're going to use my modules on exactly how to get in touch with these banks, exactly who to speak to, and you're going to start phoning these banks and finding out those list of properties, and you're going to start to get those list of properties. And you're going to basically follow that 7-step process that I outlined above to start getting those properties. So that's the business scenario, right? Somebody comes to you with a bit of demand. You can now fulfill that demand from anywhere across the US, right? From any of the states across the US, and you can get him back a list of properties that he may be interested in. He then makes some offers. You take those offers back to the banks, and you continue to then close that deal. So let me continue to show you some of the other reports that I've also built, and these reports, again, I show you exactly how to build all of these reports. So this particular report here is basically by state, right? So for all the different, whoops, let me just have a look at that. Yes, so down the bottom, what it's got there, it's got all the different banks. So you can see basically by city and state, all the different banks, and it's breaking up the REO. So you can see that for Wells Fargo Bank, you can see the different types of REO that they've got. So they've got, you know, this amount of REO, they've got this amount, the yellow one, that's the key up the top there. You know, they've got a very small amount of multiplexes, they've got, you know, a certain amount of non-residential, which is commercial, and they've got a certain amount of construction area and a very small amount of agricultural. But you can see the breakup of each one of the banks, that what's the breakup of the top of REO that they've got. Is it residential? Is it commercial? Is it construction? Whatever it is, this report gives you that. So you can just basically mouse over the different banks and see their breakup. What's another report? So let's move on to the next report. This is now, I mean, the colors are the same, but this is no longer banks down the bottom. This is basically now different states down the bottom. So for each state, you can see how much REO is there. So I can see that, you know, here's the top 3 states, you know, the state of OH, SD, and NC. These are the top 3 states that have got the majority of this, you know, REO. So therefore, I should focus the majority of my energies, the majority of my action in these 3 states. I should start to basically look around for banks and talk to banks that are in these states, because that's where the majority of that action is. What are some of the other reports that I've got? So here's another report. It's called basically a tree map report. And what it does, it basically lists all the banks, but it gives them a different size based on how much REO they've got. So Wells Fargo's got the most, and some of these smaller banks, and it might be better that I start to deal with some of these smaller banks and make relationships with some of the smaller banks, because they may be more willing to basically deal with me because I'm not a large investor. Whereas the larger institutionals may be dealing with this sort of Wells Fargo and whatnot there. What are some of the other ones? Well, then I've got a city tree map. So it's the same type of tree map that we just seen, but instead of the bank, it's got the cities. So I can see which cities have the majority of REO, right? So basically, this city here has the majority of REO, and these smaller ones down here, they have the least amount of REO. Okay, so that's just a sample of all the different types of reports. What I can also do then, basically, I can build all these other reports on my dashboard, right? So here's a number of different reports that I've built on my dashboard. For example, the city of Atlanta, that report that I got back, I saved that, and I just save it onto my dashboard, and then it's pinned there. So then every time I just refresh my data, this information just gets refreshed as well. So the common cities that you're looking at, the common types of reports that you want, you can just basically find them up and pin them to your dashboard. And that's what I'm talking about in terms of efficiencies, in terms of building efficiencies. So instead of working with this file that can take you sort of hours on end, I can get that same information, you know, out of this sort of electronic online dashboard that's available from my phone, my tablet, or my laptop, right on my fingertips, where I can quickly find the information that I want. And I've built those efficiencies into my business. And again, I'm going to give you access to all of this towards the end of this video, so please keep watching. Now here comes the really massive, crucial tip that I've been talking about. Tip number 3, which is to basically get organized and scale up. Now let me give you a warning. Without this tip, you can forget about the other 2 tips that I've showed you in terms of scaling up your business. This tip actually forces you to scale up your business. It basically forces you to get organized. And what's the tip? It basically is organize and scale up, right? Get organized, get super organized, and use cloud computing to run your complete business. Organize your contacts, your documents, your templates, your deals, your projects. Organize it all, right? Run your complete business online, right? From a system that forces you to be organized. and have access to all of that information in your system from your mobile phone. Not just your emails. Anybody can access the emails. I'm talking about complete access to the complete system, to the documents, to the actual contacts, to that complete system, to that complete processes, everything online, right? So if you need to write up a contract, it should be accessible on your phone. You should be able to do that from your phone. If you need to sign an NDA and quickly send it back, you should be able to receive that email, download that document, sign it, and basically send it back from your phone. If you need to be able to approve a document that your staff's working on, you should be able to approve it directly from your phone. If you basically need to be able to check historical conversations that you're having with different banks or investors, then again, you should be able to do that directly from your phone. This is what I did, and this is what really made a difference to me. I got super organized, and it really allowed me to take my business to the next level. So let me just show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so this is a system that I use to completely run my business online, okay? This is a system that forces me to get organized. And there's so much here that I could basically spend a complete week just showing you the different functionality. But I'm not going to do that. I'm only going to show you some very basic functionality of this system. I'm going to try and keep it really simple. But basically, here's an electronic form that I use. Every time I deal with a bank, every time I find a new bank that I'm going to deal with, I start to fill out this information, okay? So stay with me here, and as I'm going through this, keep in mind that this is what I'm offering you. I'm offering you this system, right? And it's completely flexible. So anything that you see, just think about how it can affect your business and how would you want to use this system to basically run your business. So any of these forms that I show you, we can build electronic forms for yourself with different fields and different values. So let's just take a look at how I use it, but just keep in mind that it's completely flexible and changeable to the way that you want to use it. So here's what I do. I have a number of different electronic forms that I collect the information. One of the forms is this form here, and this collects information about the bank contact who I'm dealing with. So here's what I do. I collect the bank name, the REO contact, right? The name of the person that I buy REO from. What's his title? Then I also, if I'm dealing in mortgage notes, then I also collect the mortgage note contact and his title. I collect the phone number of the bank, the actual phone number, the direct phone number of the REO contact and the notes contact, and the different email addresses for the appropriate contacts as well. Whoops. Going down, I then work out, okay, what state is that bank in and what city is it in? And then I also tag the REO that they've got, the list that they're going to give me. Is that listed on the MLS? Are those properties listed on the MLS? Yes or no, or maybe they're both. Maybe some are and some aren't. And then I put in the bank URL so I can know exactly what bank that I'm dealing with. Continuing down here, I then also put in the different states, right? So what are the different states that that bank has property in? Are they selling property in the city of New York, in the city of, in the state of New York, in the state of Georgia, wherever it is? Where are they sitting? Where are they selling those properties? And also cities. What cities are they selling the properties in? And then I start to tag it in terms of, okay, what type of property does this bank have? Do they have residential, commercial, or construction, right? And then I continue on and go in a bit more detail in terms of, okay, is their property single family residences, or is it multi-family, or is it apartments, condos, hotels, land, plots, offices, or strip malls? Whatever type of property details I get, I start to tag that in there. And here's also the very crucial part down here. I start to put in different communications that I'm having with that bank, so I can remember if I haven't spoken to this bank for about 3 months, I've put in the latest comms into this field here, and I can just go back, open it up, and I can see, okay, here's the latest communication that I had with that bank. And I also put in some, general notes about that bank that I may want to do as well. Now here is really the crux of it right here, right? I give each bank a particular status depending on where they are within my cycle of purchasing REO from that bank. So for example, initially I may get a list of all the banks and just put them in, and I'll tag them as having never called them. After that, once I find out who the REO contact is, I'll put that information in, and I still may not have called them, but then I tag it as, okay, I've got the REO contact, but I've never called them. And it continues down, right? Then I may have that initial call, and I'll tag it as having the initial call. After having the initial call, I'm then waiting on the bank to send me the list, right? So I've had that call, we've discussed it, and the bank has agreed to send me the list. So then I tag this as awaiting on the bank to send the list, right? And then I continue down. After I've received the list, I then go out and show that list to my investors, and I basically wait for my investor to make me an offer. And basically this is tagged as, okay, within that list, the bank is now waiting for me to make them an offer. After I've made an offer to the, after the investor has made me an offer and I've taken that and I've made an offer back to the bank, then basically I tag it as, okay, the offer's been made and now I'm awaiting on that bank to basically either accept or reject the offer. And so I've got a few more other tags there, but that's basically what I'm doing. So if I close that off and then I just basically group it like that, what you can see now is that here's here's sort of 1,700 banks or so here that I've done nothing with. I've just got the information. But then here, I've got another bank here who I've got the REO contact, but I still haven't phoned them. I still need to phone them. Here's then another, couple of banks who I haven't called them because maybe I have called them and I haven't been able to get in touch, but I've emailed them, right? So these banks over here, I've sent them an initial email, so I know where I'm at, right? And then there's another sort of couple of banks here where I've had that initial call with them, okay? Then there's another banks here, I've had the initial call and now I'm awaiting on them to send me the initial REO, or it might be an NDA, whatever that may be, okay? After that, basically, there's a couple of banks here where I've made offers, right? And I'm awaiting for them to basically accept or reject my offers. So as you can see, this is how you keep track of, when you're dealing with hundreds of banks. If I'm dealing with 100 banks here, I know exactly where each bank is within the process. So I can phone up, I can find out at any point of time. I can basically go in here and I can basically click that, open it up so that I can then work out exactly what's the history of that bank, who's the contact, who do I need to speak to, what's the history in terms of what's happened, what are the conversations that we've had, and where are we currently at. I currently know that here it is. I'm still waiting on these people to send me basically the REO list. So then I can phone them up and chase them. But if you haven't got a system like this that organizes things like this and is flexible, again, all of this is changeable and flexible to the way that you want it to be, then how are you going to get organized? So this here basically helps me get organized in terms of the different banks that I'm dealing with. After that, so that's when I deal with the banks and I basically get a list of documents, a list of REO from the bank, right? Then how do I dispose of those documents? Well, I have that in this system here as well, right? So I dispose of it in terms of different agents. So if you look at the left-hand side navigation, I'm going to quickly go over it. I've basically broken this up into some different sections. I've got a section there on acquiring. I acquire it from different banks. And then I've got a section there on how I dispose of it. I dispose of it through agents or wealth management companies, okay? And then I've also got a section here where it might just be some tasks that I need to do and some different resources. And at the top there, all the inventory lists that I get from the banks, I basically save those files, those documents up here. But here we go now. Let's take a look at basically this form. So now, this is where I'm now selling those lists, those properties that I've got, right? So I've got this list of REO from the bank. So I've gone here, I've got these list of REOs from the banks. Now I'm going to try and basically get some offers on these lists, right? So how do I do that? And again, this is not using any of my own money. This is all basically free money in the air, just connecting other people with other people. And I'm basically, taking a bit of chunk of that in the middle because I'm that middleman. So again, I've got the list I've got the REO list from the banks, and now I'm going to show those REO lists to the different agents. But first I'll hide that bank information so the agents don't know which banks have these properties that are for sale and are off market. So what do I do? Basically, again, let me just open this up. Here's the form that I basically fill out every time I have an investor, right? Somebody that wants to purchase REO. So I put in his company name, his contact name. I put in, what type of person is he? Is he a REO broker? Is he sort of an auction broker? Is he just, a cash buyer, a cash private investor? I put in his job title, some contact information there in terms of email and his address and phone numbers and whatnot. And then basically I start to put in, okay, what cities are you interested in? What states are you interested in? So now remember, I collected this similar information from the bank. From the bank, I'm going to know which cities and which states I've got REO property and notes in. Here, I'm going to know for this investor, what cities and what states is he interested in? And then I can basically match them up. So again, I get similar information. Does he want REO and notes or both? Does he want residential property, commercial property, construction? And what type of asset is he after? Is he after single family residences, multifamily apartments, or whatever else that may be? I tick it, right? And I've done a similar thing when I was collecting the bank information, right? So now I can basically very quickly match these two up. I find an investor that wants a particular property in maybe the city of Georgia, Atlanta, which is a single family residence. I've got a bank that's got a single family residence in the city of, Atlanta, Georgia. Then I can basically just map them up and I can send him that particular offer, right? What I also keep in here is, you know, the deal type details, right? In terms of, okay, you know, how are we going to close this deal, right? Because down the bottom here, I'm basically storing the different commissions that we start to agree on. I also get in here, you know, the different price brands that he's looking at. What size of the deal does he want to do? What's the smallest size of the deal he'll do? What's the maximum size and what's the average size? Just so I know a little bit about his personality and the type of deals that he's after, so I can match him correctly, okay? And again, I could, you know, keep there my notes about this person, and I also keep there any communication that I have with him. So if I haven't dealt with this investor for maybe 3 months, but I knew what he was looking at, and I know now exactly what he's looking for, then when I find a bank that has what he wants, then I can come in here, work out what the last communications is that I had with this person. I can then quickly phone him up and tell him, you know, hi, how you going, John? You know, we spoke a few months ago and this is what we spoke about, and I understand that you're looking for this, this, and this, and here we go. I now have that for you, and I can start to basically present that transaction to him. And again, what I have down the bottom here is basically, you know, the different process, the different cycle, the different stages that a buyer goes through with me in order to buy some REO property from one of the banks that I have. And here's how I do it. Basically, you know, firstly I have that initial call with him, then I send him an NDA. After that, I'm waiting for him to approve the NDA. After he's approved the NDA, then I send him the list, and then I'm waiting for him to make offers on that list. After he makes offers on the list, then I send those offers back to the bank, and again, I'm waiting on the bank to accept or reject those offers. But again, right, whoops, let me just cancel that. This is how you get that organized. So then basically what I do, I basically list these and group these by that status field. So I can see that I've got 24 people who I've, you know, just got to have that initial call with. I've got 7 people who basically I've sent them the NDA and I'm waiting for them to sign and approve the NDA. I've got about 3 people there who have approved the NDA and sent me back the NDA, and I now need to send them the list. I've got 16 people there who I've sent them the list, and I'm now awaiting for them to make an offer on the list. And then I've got about, you know, one transaction there of someone who's made an offer on that list, and I've sent those offers to the bank, right? And I've received the offers, and I've got to send those offers now off to the bank. So that's the beauty of this, right? I can now work with hundreds of investors, and I can work with hundreds of banks, and I can just go through this every morning. I can come here and just go through this and see, okay, where am I at with the different banks and who do I need to speak to? I think I can then go to, you know, the people that are buying these assets from me and see, okay, where am I at with all these investors, all these people that are buying these assets from me, and who do I need to speak to? So that's that, right? And there's so much more that this can do, but I'm not really going to go into too much more of it. Just a few other things. At the bottom here, I've got these task lists, right? So I can basically assign new tasks, you know, to myself or to other people. So if I've got something that I've got to do, I can write down the task, I can prioritize the task, right? I can again group those tasks by a particular, you know, status, if it's in progress, complete, or if I've deferred it, or I can assign those tasks to other people. I can, you know, describe the task, and I can put dates around it as to say, okay, this is when that task is due. So there's a bit of task management there as well. Not only does this sort of do the list of banks and the list of, you know, the people that are buying these assets, your investors, and task management, but it also does document management, right? You can start to upload documents into this system, right? You can not only upload, you know, if you've got NDAs or other agreement documents or contracts that you've got, you know, working, you can upload all of them into this system, and you can tag those documents with the different information. You can say, okay, this document belongs to that particular bank or to that particular investor. So you know exactly the different documents that you've, you know, been dealing with the different banks and the different investors that you've got. Not only that, you can also generate different documents, right? So if you've got, for example, invoices or other NDAs, and within your NDA, you need to, instead of manually typing in that information, you can start to sort of automatically feed that information in, okay? And I can sort of show you how to do that as well. So it's a complete document management system. It's a complete contacts management system, but it's so much more. The last bit of functionality I'm going to show you before I close this off is basically the way to search this information and also how to filter this information. So as an example, I can basically go down here and I can filter down and say, okay, you know, from the list of banks that I've got, just filter them down for the city of DE, and there we go. It will just quickly filter them down, and for that particular state. I can do that same filtering for city, for state, and, you know, also by bank name or any other columns at the top there. And let's just say that you didn't know that information. You didn't know what city you were dealing with, but all you knew was that, you know, you were dealing with somebody possibly by the name of John. So I just type in John and all the Johns come up, right? It goes and it searches all that information itself, right? Because all I remember was that I was talking to somebody called John. Because when you're dealing with hundreds of banks, you don't remember the name of the bank that you're dealing with. You may only remember some information. That might be the name of the person, that might be the name of the bank, that might be the city, that might be the state, whatever it is. You just type that up the top there and it filters that down and brings you that information. So not only can you do that, you know, filtering and searching for the banks, but again, you can do the same filtering and searching for the different agents or the wealth management companies or your buyers, your investors. You can do that same sort of filtering and searching for them. And not only there, you can basically filter and search that entire site. This is your entire business management system, right? And not just does one thing. It doesn't just store bank contacts. It doesn't just store investor contacts. It doesn't just store documents. It does everything that you need to do. You've just got to work out how to use this system to make yourself super organized. So the third principle was to basically get organized and scale up. And this is a system that I use to basically organize myself and scale up. And how do you scale up? Well, when I organize myself, now I can deal with hundreds of banks. Now I can deal with, you know, hundreds of agents. Not only that, I can basically hire somebody and say, okay, your job, all your job is to do is to basically go and find bank information and fill this form out and tag it as somebody. You know, I can say, okay, your job is just to find bank information, fill this form out and tag it as never called. Right? And that's what I've been doing. That's why I've now got 1,700 banks just sitting there waiting for me to call them. I can then hire somebody else and say, okay, here's the process to find the REO contact. Your job is to basically go find the REO contact. Basically put, I get organized, you know, and I can basically just start to scale up my business and start to hire virtual assistants to basically do those little sort of, you know, repetitive tasks that I don't really need to be involved in. And therefore I can focus on really growing my business. Okay, so I've sort of showed you my 3 tips there. The first tip was to basically have a simple process to buy properties from the banks. The second tip basically was to, you know, build efficiencies into your business. And the third tip, which was the most crucial one, which was basically to have an online system where you can get super organized. Now, I'm just going to give you one last example here of how I put all of this together, right? So let's just put this whole thing together. So how does it start? Well, for me, it basically starts from an email. Somebody sends me an email and it's basically a buyer. He's looking to buy some property. And what does his email say? You can read through it yourself there, but basically he's looking to buy some property in the city of, you know, Atlanta, and he's happy to sort of pick up, you know, 5 or 8 of these properties, and he's looking for sort of residential property. So what's the first thing, the first step that I basically do? Well, the first thing that I do, whoops, not this one, but I actually bring up this particular system. And I say to myself, okay, you know, which banks have some, you know, residential property in the city of Atlanta? And I can see that these banks have it. So I'll go into this system and I'll first find out which banks have it, and I'll see, okay, how much does each one of the different banks have? And now I know that I've basically got to start to talk to these banks, because these are the banks that have that property that I'm looking for. After that, I'll then go into my other system, my business management system that basically manages all this information. And I can just basically go up here and I can type in, I can just go up here and I can just basically filter that for the state of GA. And then I could basically just filter this, if I've got it, for the state of Atlanta. So let me just scroll down. Where's Atlanta? Oh, it's there. So there it is. I'll just filter this for the state of Atlanta. And I can see there straight away that there's 13 banks that I haven't even touched that I can start to phone up and see what they've got. But already within my transactions, you know, I've basically, you know, made offers on 2 of these banks, and I can basically start to get in touch with these banks that I've made offers on, right, to basically find some property in the city of Atlanta and fulfill this requirement. So what was the requirement? The requirement was to find this person some properties in Atlanta so that he can buy about 5 to 8 of those. So how did I do that? Basically, I went to this system here and I found out, okay, which banks have some property in Atlanta. I found that out, and then I went over here and started to basically get in touch with those banks, right? Worked out any existing sort of contracts that I've got, any existing information that I've already got in terms of comms that I'm already having with any particular banks in Atlanta, which I am. And if I'm not, there's another 13 banks here that I can contact. There's their phone numbers. I can just contact them and start to work with them for basically finding some property for banks in Atlanta. So that's how we can put it all together there. So again, just putting it all together, basically what I've showed you here is those 3 tips. The first one was to have a simple system to buy REO direct from the banks. And you've seen my simple 7-step system that I'm going to give you access to towards the end of this video. The next step there was to basically build efficiencies. And I showed you my bank inventory interactive database for over 5,000 banks. If you've forgotten what that was, that's basically this, right? This is the database that has all the 5,000, even up to 6,000 banks in there, and it has their inventory. Here's the inventory here, right? I can quickly see the inventory that each bank has. And the third step was then to basically organize my business and scale it up, right? And some people call that, a CRM, right? A customer or client relationship management software. But I basically call it a BMS, right? A business management software, right? And what that is over here, right? This is what I use to basically get super organized. So how do I put it together? Well, basically, I've got that sort of 7-step process, that overarching process that I'm following to buy these properties from the banks. But to actually implement those steps on that process, that's where I'm using these different tools. So the bank interactive inventory database and also the business management system, or the CRM, call it what you like. I use these 2 tools to implement those steps. And again, keep on watching, because I'm going to give you the opportunity to basically have all of these tools for yourself. Okay, that was a lot to cover, and you may even be feeling a little bit overwhelmed and confused, but that's okay. Basically, this means that you now have 2 options on where to go from here. Choice number 1 is that you can take all this information that I've presented and try and go at it alone. You can use trial and error to try and work out and implement my blueprint for buying properties from the banks. You can then basically look for your own business intelligence tool to basically get that charting software that I've got that searches up all the 5,000 banks to tell me exactly how much inventory they've got. And then you can start to build your own business management software, your own client relationship management software. And who knows, you may even get some success. And if you do, I wish you all the very best. Or there's option 2, which I call the savvy choice. This is where you let me do all the hard work for you, and you know that I already have. Why start from scratch and try and reinvent the wheel when I've laid down your exact step-by-step blueprint for building a sizable real estate business? One that's been tested for years, one that's responsible for thousands of businesses, growing from $100,000 businesses to $1 million businesses, and building that dream business at last without having to buy expensive tools and without cramping your lifestyle. Here's what the vast majority of our successful business owners have chosen. They basically choose option number 2, which is a savvy choice, where I give you the 3-in-1 real estate business growth pack. Everything that you've seen in this video, basically everything you've seen in this video, all bundled together into one single offering called the 3-in-1 real estate business growth pack. And this is what it includes. It basically includes a video series that covers the 7 steps to buying property direct from the banks, buying REO from the banks. Another video series that shows you how to build your very own bank inventory interactive database. And number 3, the business management system, the complete business management system. So let me just show you everything that's included. So number 1 is that whole process on buying REO properties direct from the bank. So you're going to get this, which is basically, a 3-module video series. Module 1 tells you how to get that bank inventory file freely from the internet. Module 2 then tells you how to basically find the contact, how to find the bank contact, right? His name and his number from information that's freely available from the internet. Module 3 then basically shows you how to build that bank inventory interactive database. So what was that? That was, if I just open up, that was this one here. And if I just go back to the dashboard, that was this here, the complete bank inventory interactive database. So that's number 1, and that's also number 2. Number 3 was the complete business management system, which is this one over here, where I showed you in detail exactly how that works. So I'm offering you all those 3 things, 3-in-1 real estate business growth pack. The real estate growth pack is basically the first ever complete business growth system that allows you to build and scale a massive real estate business. Now, you may believe that a system that can do this much would cost quite a penny, And in all honesty, it really should. After all, this system has helped thousands of folks just like you build million and even billion-dollar businesses. I'll get to the price in just a few moments, but let me just say this. I'm going to make this system so affordable that anyone will be able to access the training and the software. So keep watching. Price will not be a problem. The price of other business management software tools is sold for thousands of dollars, yet they don't even do half the functionality, nor are they half as stable as this Microsoft platform. Nor do they include any of the training videos that I'm going to give you today. Training on how to buy properties direct from the banks. And with me, you're not just receiving a business management system, but today you're receiving these three things. You're receiving video training on how to buy properties direct from banks. You're also receiving video training on how to build your own bank inventory interactive database. And then you're also receiving the Business Management Cloud software, or the CRM, the Client Relationship Management software. So let me just quickly show you again. You're going to get all of these video modules, right? The modules that basically walk through the different steps on how to purchase property direct from the banks. You're also going to get some video modules that show you how to set this up using free resources on the internet. And then you're going to get your own site that basically looks exactly like this, so you can start putting in, the information of the banks and the information of your investors, and upload and manage your documents to completely manage yourself, manage your contacts, manage your documents, and every other part of your business. And just for watching this presentation, I'd like to give you free of charge this value add bonus to help you grow your business even faster. I'm going to give you a 30-minute session with myself to basically work together with you to configure your business management cloud software so that it can work the way you want it to work. So you'll get everything that I've showed you, but if you want to add more forms, then fine, I'll show you how to do that. If you want to change the values of some of the drop downs so it's personalized more in the way that you work, then fine, I'll show you how to do that. The platform is just so flexible that I often tell my clients to start off slow and start off small. Just pick one part of your business and let's get that right. Once we get that right, then we can easily scale up and move to the other parts of your business. This 30-minute bonus session is only available to the first 100 people because my time is very valuable. Now you can easily see why the 3-in-1 Real Estate Growth Pack system is valued at over $10,000. Even without the bonuses, this is a complete steal. Imagine all the effort it would take for you to build something like this. All that reporting and that graphing software that I showed you, the business management platform that I showed you, and all those training modules that I showed you. Imagine the effort and money it would take to build something like this. However, just for watching this presentation today, I'm going to be giving you a much better deal. Remember what I said. I said I'm going to make this platform and training affordable to absolutely everybody. Of course, you could choose to continue down the path that you're on right now and pay 10, 20, maybe even 100 times this much money in the near future in the form of lost profits, or buy some other tools and software that don't even do half of what they promise. And let's not even talk about the software development bills if you wanted to build this on your own. And that definitely is not what I want for you. So let's make this a really easy decision, shall we? Okay, so what's the price? Your investment today will not be $10,000. Your investment won't even be $1,000, not even $100. Your total investment today for the 3-in-1 Real Estate Business Growth Pack and all the bonuses that you've seen above, you only pay one payment of $1 and then $37 a month. That's right, you heard that right. $1 for 30 days and then $37 a month. You get complete access to absolutely everything. Nothing is going to be held back. I want you to try it for yourself. Go through the training material, build your own bank inventory interactive database, use the business management software to organize yourself and your business. Try it out for just $1 for the complete 30 days. And if you're not happy, that's fine, just cancel and you won't be charged any further. But I'm so confident that you'll find value in this within that 30 days that you'll continue to use it. I feel you deserve to know why it is that I'm offering you this for such a massive discount today. So let me share with you my dream. It's a cause that I'm inviting you to join, along with thousands of other folks just like you who are ready to reinvent their complete business, right? Ready to basically replace the hours of work and ad hoc random processes with an organized, sustainable, scalable system. And above all, grow that lifestyle and business that they truly deserve. A few years ago, I set myself an inspiring goal. What was the goal? I dedicated myself to helping at least 1 million men and women build a business that will surpass their lifetime and become an asset for the generations to come, an asset for themselves, an asset for their children, and an asset for their children's children, right? An asset for generations to come. Since then, I've helped hundreds and hundreds of people build sustainable businesses, and this is a great start because that's hundreds of families who will never again have to worry about money. But imagine it, imagine if that was 1 million families. How much joy would that create? How many happier kids would that make? The bottom line is that I decided that I absolutely need to let as many folks as possible join this cause, a cause that I call 1 million free families. The good news is that this means that I can offer this to you at a much lower price because I want you to join the cause and I don't want finances to stop anyone. So let's add your family to the cause right now, starting today. That means that today you will not be paying the retail value of the 3-in-1 real estate business pack. That'd be over $10,000. But no, you're not going to pay that, not even close to that. So again, your investment today is not $10,000. It's not $1,000. It's not even $100. Your investment today is only one payment of $1 and then $37 a month. Yes, you heard that right. It's $1 for 30 days and then $37 a month. You get complete access to everything. Nothing is hidden back. For that $1, you get complete access for 30 days. Try it out. And if it's not how you want it, that's fine. Just cancel at any time and you will not be billed further. But I'm so confident in this product and I'm so confident in myself that we'll be able to offer you some real value to your business and that you'll continue to use this service. Stop watching this video and click the button on this page now for immediate access. Before we go any further, it's only fair that I'll be absolutely 100% honest with you. If you're looking for that magic software that will bring you unlimited amounts of money with zero effort, or if you're looking for that, 7-day quick rich scheme, or some other program that you already know will never ever work for you, then leave this page now. This training and software is for men and women who are ready to put aside these miracle answers and are serious about becoming financially free through building a lucrative real estate business. In short, there are no effortless easy solutions, yet I've made this training and software as easy as it can be. So if you're wanting the real answers to business growth, then here's what you can expect from the 3-in-1 Real Estate Business Growth Pack. You can expect to learn how to buy properties at wholesale direct from the banks, spy on over 5,000 bank distressed assets, their notes and their ARIA inventory, just like you've seen me do in this video. You can expect to get organized, organize yourself, organize your business, organize your documents, your contact lists, all online, accessible from any location and any device. Let me tell you what happens to most of our clients as they start to use our software. Basically, they start to learn more about their own business. They get organized and all of a sudden they're learning the processes, they're really homing down in the processes and they learn more about their own business. What then happens is that leads them to start developing standard operating procedures, right? SOPs for finding buyers, SOPs for finding sellers, SOPs for market research. What this does, this then leads them to be able to hire a virtual assistant to which they can then delegate these repetitive tasks to and really start to automate their business. Because now that it's all just in an electronic system, you simply give the VA access to the electronic system, you hand over your standing operating procedure and just let them fill out the form. And then that in turn frees up their time to really focus on business growth, on how to really get explosive business growth. As they continue to do this and develop other SOPs, standard operating procedures, they start to hire other different people for different parts of the business. And before you know it, you start to really grow that business into departments. And all of a sudden, you've got a complete department that's doing the marketing. You've got a complete department that's looking for new opportunities. You've got a complete department that's then fulfilling those opportunities. And that really allows you to have an explosive real estate business. So through this software, you can expect to build a business that you really desire without having to sacrifice your entire lifestyle to do it. This is truly the only system for you. Let's now take another look at exactly what you'll receive. So again, number one, you're going to get the video course, right? The course that teaches you exactly how to buy REO properties direct from the banks. You're going to get a second video course, and this second video course plus software. And what this will do, this will basically teach you how to build your own bank inventory interactive database, right? So that you can therefore then go in there and query that database to see exactly which bank has what property you're after. And thirdly, the business management cloud software, so that you can manage your contacts, your investors, your banks, and your other documents, and also most importantly, yourself. But wait, it only gets better. There are no contracts. That's right, no contracts, no nothing. If I'm not giving you value every single month, then I don't want your money. That's right. So if you're not getting $37 worth of value every single month, then you're free to leave at any time. Again, this is easily valued at over $10,000. And I know this because I used to charge this as a Microsoft consultant. And that is only a fraction of what it cost me to build this system. If you don't believe me, go grab your own developer and ask him yourself how much it would take to build something like this. Never mind the real estate course, which itself is valued at thousands of dollars. So this is easily valued at over $10,000, but not for you. You can have it today for a single payment of $1 and then $37 a month. And again, you can cancel at any time, there are no contracts. So seriously, stop watching this video, claim your access now and save thousands of dollars in lost profits. With a $1 trial for 30 days, you really have nothing to lose. Click the button on this page and get started today. But do it now, because this will end soon. I can only support a limited number of people on my platform. So click the button and get started today. Seriously, stop watching this video, just go click the button and get started today. Listen, take advantage of my unconditional triple guarantee. Just try it. Try the 3-in-1 Real Estate Business Growth Pack system for a full 30 days. And if it doesn't do exactly what you expect it to do in that first 30 days, or even if you just don't like the way the videos are designed, or even if you don't just like the font face that I used, you name it, I'll gladly refund every penny. No questions, no hassles. So click the button on this page to claim your discounted price now. Here's a testimonial from Sarah Lasco. She basically says that she was already running a small business, a small real estate business, but this software platform allowed her to really take her business to the next level. And again, that's most likely because it got her organized. Here's another testimonial from Scott McLaughlin, and what he says is that he would forget what happened with his past leads. So he'd make some leads, and a few months after, he'd basically forget to contact them or forget where that conversation was at. And this software was perfect for him because it organizes all those processes and more. And it started sending him reminders, because that's how he set it up, to remind him on when to basically action those pending tasks. So therefore he was able to cash in on those missed opportunities. I could show you testimonial after testimonial, but you really need to just try it for yourself. You'll be joining thousands of other business success stories just like Sarah and Scott. Plus, if you act now before this presentation ends, then I'm going to toss in this one-of-a-kind super bonus valued at $297. It's my exact word-for-word phone scripts that I used when speaking with the banks. So once I'd get the name and number of the bank, I'd phone him up, and there was a particular script that I'd use that I'd speak to him and say to him, and therefore that would allow me to get that list from him, that list of bank-owned properties that they were looking to sell. Now, if you cannot invest $1 into your own business, then I really have nothing more to say and nothing more to offer you. So again, the price is one payment of only $1 and then $37 a month. Remember, it's not just a great bargain you're getting today. You'll be joining in on the biggest family freedom movement in history. You'll be part of an ever-growing lifestyle-friendly business community. So stop watching this video, click on the button and claim your spot now. You'll be granted immediate access to everything in the 3-in-1 Real Estate Business Growth Pack. Plus you'll get that free bonus, which is a 30-minute session with me just for taking immediate action today. Remember, you have been struggling with your business for far too long, and the pain of continuing in a state of inaction will only lead to more despair and more frustration and continued loss of income. Yet all of this can change the moment that you begin using the 3-in-1 Real Estate Business Growth Pack system. Just picture it for a moment. Picture when you finally have the answers that you've been looking for and you begin on the path of the new ideal you. You start to feel alive. You feel full of optimism and energy. Imagine it. Imagine seeing your business growing. Imagine yourself getting completely organized and getting complete control over your business. Imagine starting to build different departments for acquiring assets, departments for then disposing of those assets, right? So what I mean is you get a complete department for marketing, another department that focuses on bringing in opportunities for you, another department then that focuses on basically fulfilling those opportunities, another department that focuses on research. Imagine experiencing the freedom, the control, the energy, and the life-renewing results that you truly deserve at long last. Yes, it's true, your business growth has been limited, but this has largely not been your fault. It's true, you've been lied to by all the quick rich schemes, the fad business schemes, and the false promises that no one stands behind. However, today marks your day to take responsibility, to take the action necessary and put all those lies to an end, and begin a new journey on a true lifestyle-friendly business growth plan that simply works. You know I'm not lying to you because I've showed you everything. I've actually showed you the platform. You know exactly what you're getting. And unlike those phony schemes, this solution is guaranteed to work. Try it first for 30 full days and see the results you desire, or you pay absolutely nothing. Plus, you're always only minutes away from an answer from our friendly support staff. Just do not put this off any second longer. Here's why. First, as you recall, I've lowered the price to make it affordable to absolutely everyone, just so you can jump in today. Yet eventually, I'm going to raise the price back up to where it really deserves to be. So act now before that happens. Also, you don't want to be feeling left out of my super bonus offer, which is the 30-minute session with me to basically tailor the software for your business processes. And only the first 100 comers will be guaranteed access to it. Everyone else will simply be out of luck. And let's not forget, unless you take action right now, today, you may never take action. You may do what other people do, which is put it off just for a little while, and that little while then becomes just a few more days, which will then turn into months and then years. So let's make sure you get what you really want, and do the only smart thing you can do, which is to take advantage of this limited time offer while you still can, and wisely get on the right path to a sane, simple and friendly journey to business growth today. Click the button on this page and let's get you started straight away. If you're still watching this video, I bet you still have some questions. I cannot think of a scenario why this would not work for you. It works for businesses in every industry, not just real estate. So I really recommend that you just invest $1 into your own business and join now. Seriously, look at the risk versus the reward. The risk here is nothing, while the possible reward is infinite. But if you still have some questions before you want to invest your $1 into your business growth, then that's fine. Simply email me. My email address is riz.khan@rioncapital.com. That's RIZ.KHAN@RionCapital, which is REONCAPITAL.com. So that's riz.khan@rioncapital.com. I thank you for listening, and I hope this video has given you some insights into how the large corporations do it. And I look forward to seeing you on the other side.